Leslie, strange.
That was an introduction. I'm sorry. You know what you want to say, but I told you I trust you. You said 1974. I'm like, Mama. So thank you. I'm going to start out with the third vibration. I go, ooh, this is loud, Ken. Why didn't you tell me? I can start with the third step prayer in the passion that I know it to be. So you pray up in here. Third prayer tonight. It's the same with me. Just pray with me inside. God, we offer ourselves to you to deal with us and to do with us as you will. Relieve us of the bond for self so that we can better hear, see, and do thy will. In fact, please take away our difficulties, thanks you for real, so that when we have victory over said difficulties, we can be light bearers or lighthouses for those and telling them about your love, this power, and your way of life. More important, and most important, and we will always. And so it is sacred. The reason why I said that third step prayer like that is because I used to do third step prayer and I was like, I hate it. Because Bill writes in a manner for a black girl in 1988 who didn't sing with me. It wasn't Maya Angelou, it wasn't Ayana Van Zandt, it wasn't Toni Morrison, it wasn't, some of the other authors I used to read back in the day. I first Slim, excuse me for those he was D-Didoing and I couldn't get with it. So, because of this program, you got to help me figure out your own way, get down your own understanding, and as I get more mature and I get more mature and seasoned in this program, I'm able to take these prayers out of the book of Alcoholics Anonymous and make them my own. As long as the influence and the concern is correct, the intention is correct, most high here. So as I've been going through this journey with the big book and experience again, it's been renewed again. I'm pretty sure you've gone through a few evolutions in your recovery. My grand sponsor, who's dead, got 50 plus years. I know you reinvent and you re-see things differently. You know what I'm saying? So I started to see things differently. So I started saying that third step prayer with ladies. And when I say it with ladies, I have them read it just like it is in the book, and then we go back over it. And we can find what that says. Because I think that third step prayer is so big, and it's so juicy, and it means so much. In fact, I've taken that third step prayer and applied it to my life, and when I see someone hurt and in pain, and they can't get it together, I tell my sponsees, pray this prayer for your families, insert name here. Pray this for that child, pray that for that son, pray that for that mother. I offer them to do that. But I will be brief. I just wanted to open the third step prayer. Again, my name is Leslie Strange. My sobriety date is November 2nd, 1988. I'm here to get comfortable up here in minutes. Yeah, this is going to be a journey. I thank you guys. I thank everybody that came here and spoke before me. I have to say that. Really, I love you and your wife. You guys took us to a pancake place last year. I remembered you once we got you came and picked us up. You're the coolest light-skinned guy I know. Trust me, he ain't light-skinned. Like, oh, my brother, who is it? Yeah, I love you. Thank you. Your wife is so humble, and I love her. And I love what you do with that baby. Lindsay, I didn't get to hear you because I was in a coma. When you get old, sleep is important. I don't know about y'all sleep, but sleep past you is sexy. I don't know. That's it's amazing how you develop relationships with people. Lindsay, I was renting out a room to someone in the fellowship, and that someone in the fellowship knew Lindsay, and I'd seen Lindsay several times because we're from the same area in Atlanta. And Lindsay, I found out, it comes to my house, but Lindsay, I found out, likes to fish. And I have a lake in my backyard. So I told the guy that I'm renting from, I said, hey, I told her, tell her anytime she wants to come, bring her fishing pole. And she has come to my backyard and fish. We have catfish, bass, and turtles. I don't eat turtle meat, but that other thing. So thank you. I heard it from my sons, he came in and they said, what's that first? Lots. Like saying, I love fish. Thank you. And thank you for talking as well. You guys are kind of nice, I know it's her. My friend Ken. I got a story about Ken. My mother died May 17th, Mother's Day 2017. And it just so happened, Ralph and I started seeing each other at that time, and it just so happened he has a Woodstock, it's a convention in Los Angeles, Woodstock West, famous club, but he has a convention. It was the same weekend of my mother's burial. And I've never buried my mother. I've never been buried anybody so close. I mean, friends and stuff in the fellowship. That was new, and I was able to attend a little bit of it, but the day I was born, that Sunday, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to go. I said, you gotta do it. As I came downstairs, there's a 6-foot some-odd guy. And I, in that instant, I don't know about you, but I was raised with a guy. He was tall, dirty white. He was smoking that evening. And I can't remember nothing he said to me, but all I do is remember is looking up and going, okay. And he, just like he stands here and smiles, and he got that voice and that look. He gave me a sense of encouragement and a sense of comfort and a sense of unconditional love. I'm amazed. He didn't want nothing from me. I was amazed. And I'm going to do what I have to get that done. And proof everybody is kidding. My guy's best friend. So I'll be like, Ken, tell him something. I'll be saying, I'll be putting juju on the Ken's elbow and he needs to go up. I'm a caller now. I'm gonna step over that line, but sometimes I'll be like, psychically. But Ken has always been a powerhouse. Anytime I hear him share, every time I pull him up on YouTube, I just can see his whole body. And he's a beast with this program, and he really walks this thing down. And he was bad as hell. If I was your mother, you'd been fighting. I'm so glad you've been redeemed, but some mother shit. You know what I'm saying? You say, what's your mother? Oh, no, you've been dead. So I just want to say thank you. I always enjoy interviewing you. I'd like to thank the community. Jay, thank you for working with me. I do it always dresses up for me. He got his little time. So everybody go over to him and ask him what time it is. Thank you for everybody's here. And last but not least, and I know this is not an acceptance speech, but I have to acknowledge you because you guys moved the schedule around a few times, and the last time was the time that was really important to me because a lot of my friends are here, and a lot of my sister friends, and some of my spiritual daughters, goddaughters, sister friends, people I've grown up in the room, the Alcoholics Anonymous, girls that have put they've turned their thinking and their actions over to care of me until I can help plug them into the power. I'd like to thank all my sponsors that flew, drove, rode on camels, two pigeons, horseback road. They came and they couldn't beat. Because I don't know about you, but any of you been here, but if you don't have a bunch of friends, maybe you might want to look in the mirror. Because this is the place where you get friends. This is the place where you get to get butt naked and show your entire behind, and they said, ugh, I don't like her, but I love her. You know what I'm saying? You sit in here lonely, and there's no number one except on the first step, or the first tradition, or the first concept. There's no territory one in here. See, because I don't hear anything like me, but I suffer from a lack of love and a lack of belonging. I wanted to be loved, and I wanted to belong to something. I don't care if it's your Girl Scouts, I don't care if it's the First Holy Community Catechism class, I'm a Recovered Catholic, I don't care if it's the spot over there that got the extra zooms and webcams that they can really zoom, I don't care if it's a liquor store, I don't care if it's a bunch of drugs, I just wanted to belong. And I pray that in my walk and in my encouragement and in my spirit that I'm able to be a lighthouse. She's right, I feel like I'm a lighthouse. Because it's one of the things in the traditions that I don't have to promote. You see me. You see me, this man. And today I can probably say, I like who I am today. I'm okay with that. Now, some people that don't understand and don't know, it sounds like people, and it looks kind of arrogant. No, it's not. It's God esteem, not self-esteem. But that was all built through the steps. That was all built through getting rid of the stuff that's blocking me from the sunlight and spirit. Because we tell you that God was lost. Ever recovered now? A story goes through something like this. I'm the oldest of 4 children. 2 died between myself and my youngest brother. They died, and I'm by the way, the motorcycle crew. I want to take a picture of your back of your jacket. Fort Bragg, North Carolina is where I was born. I saw Fort Bragg on the back page. You know, somebody had that motorcycle. There it is. Yeah. Whatever the beginning is, I think it was. Yeah. I saw that. You know, it's amazing. So I'm born in Fort Bragg. My mother was in the military. My father was in the military. My mother's a veteran. But what's so amazing is my oldest son is 33. He's a veteran. And then also with that, I married a veteran. I lived over through a desert storm in Germany when I first got sober. And I have a pension for people who suffer, and I have a pension for people who've done service. So thank you for your service. You've done service to this unfair system, but I thank you for that. Thank you for that. And so my mother and father got together, and my dad turned into Ike Turner, and my mother couldn't take it anymore. So after having broke up, and she left. See, my mother was originally from Los Angeles, California. My mother left my father, and she came back here, and here she came with me, and she was pregnant 6 months with my younger brother. Let me tell you something about my younger brother, because you mentioned the family. My younger brother is one of us. Now, coming into the room to Alcoholics Anonymous, I didn't know I had this thing. I didn't know I had this set it off thing. Set it off, and it's on and pop, and you know, I take one, it's on. And I didn't know that there was something called, there was some thinking before I took that first one. And I didn't know I was disposed or whatever it is that makes me do what I do. I didn't know that I had any of this. You guys gave me the language to fit the feelings and the unknown. I couldn't explain what was wrong because I didn't think anything was wrong. See, when I got here, my mother started working. She started at Lockheed. My mother's always been a hard worker. High school diploma, but her philosophy back in the 70s is get a job, get some benefits, and never let a man buy you a TV, because when he quits you, he'll come and get all his stuff. So that was my mother's philosophy. My mother was also the marrying kind. I don't know what happened and how she did it, but she was married 5 times. And the black was the tape. I don't know, but my mother was married 5 times. One time to a gay guy that she didn't find out about it, and then he got the romance. We've been together 7 years, and I've been like, turn up. Did I tell you the time that I was in a robbery and I was a getaway car driver? We get up and be like, no, you didn't tell me that. It comes up, it's layers of stuff that I remember, and it's like, oh, I did that. You know, I like to think I was just a nice alcoholic. You know? Shut up, don't test me. Took my turn, y'all laughing. Yeah, ain't funny. Anyway, took my turn, passed it, you know, was polite, had cocaine and everything, and I'm saying that because I did all of that. You know what I'm saying? I had everything, you know, on the drink. Now, I was just another rat. Nobody really knew because I had a job. I mean, how bad can I be if I have a job? I have an apartment. I'm 28 years old when I came in here. I don't have kids. I went to Catholic school. I had a canopy bed. I went to all this. Shut up, okay? Right? I went to Catholic school and I learned how to do volleyball and I turned into Becky overnight. You know, I knew how to work. You know, I knew how to shit. While my friends were light skinned, I'd be like, oh my God, he's so cute. Now they're hanging out with Mary Jo, and I'm like, girl, they drink, man. They don't know what's up. So I was whatever, you know, needed to be the thing for me to fit. Remember, it's a sense of belonging, a sense of love. I didn't know that's what I was looking for. So my mom gets back, and she always had good jobs. She worked a lot of years before after this. She worked at Children's Hospital at one point, and she goes to some private school. And in the 70s, the private school was really, really cool. We had very small classes. I liked to read a lot. I didn't know how smart I was until I was like today years old. I don't know if anybody ever gone back to school. Anybody ever go back to school after they got sober? Yeah. Do you get pissed at a B? It's like, wait a minute, you don't know what I still got brain cells. It's amazing that I can figure this out. But the people with Alcoholics Anonymous say that most of them have great earning capacity. I like that book because it has something for everybody. So I went to high school, all those Catholic school, left there about the 10th, 11th grade, and went to a really good city school, Fairfax High School in Los Angeles, Los Angeles. It's like, it's on Melrose, literally. And graduated from there. Did pretty good. But I started, my disease started with, just a little homegrown. Stay with me, you pure alcoholic, forgive me, put me down there and resentment inventory. So I'm going to not stay on it, but I am an alcoholic, but I'm going to touch on my story because that's my story. A little homegrown, marijuana, got dust and seeds and dirt in it. This is called a headache weed, It started out mildly, it started out experimentally. It started out, I'm 16, I'm doing what we do at 16. I'm hanging out with my friends. Then somebody would bring some concoction in school. We'd go behind the handball court and we'd have a sit. And it was all okay. And then it would go into the night parties. When you get a little older, I think after about 14, 15, they start having night parties. And the night parties is when it's nighttime. And I'm there with my friends. I spend the night. Girls, in the night with the girls, figure out what they're going to wear, and who all the boys are going to be there. There's always the boys. That's why I'm an alcoholic. All you men. And you sit there. So my first drink that I recall, that's my ability. We're all sitting there, and there was this boy I liked, his shoes looked like one of the Jacksons, the original Jackson. I said, and everybody Jackson. And he had this big fro, he was cute, 70s and everything. And I'm like, I really like this kid. I used to like him, but he didn't know I liked him because he didn't even know who I was. And so the party goes on, got the DJ, and all the parents are in the kitchen, and they have a big bowl of punch. And it's regular Hawaiian punch, diabetes part 2, that big thing of Hawaiian punch. And he comes in, he's a bad boy, he's got on his Levi's with the creases in them, and he's got, cups at the bottom, y'all don't know nothing about that. That's what the bad boys wore. He got a white t-shirt, almost like a black Ponzi kind of dude. Look at the long leather coat, coming back, and he has a school swag, and all this guys. He was so cute to me. And I just knew, see, I built a scene in my head, what it was going to be like, and he was going to come up to me. It was something like on a Lifetime where he was going to come up to me, and he was going to say, hey, and the sparkles and all that, and he was going to be my boyfriend. He came into the party, and he was the boy that had the bottle in the back of the pants, and he pulled out that bottle. You guys remember Spike the Punch? Yeah. Spike the Punch, for those who don't know, is when you put a little something inside the punch without adult supervision. And so they poured this little whatever it was that was in that brown paper bag in there, and suddenly the lights go down, and it's a blue light, and all of a sudden the music slows down. I'm not going to sing Teddy, but some Teddy Pendergrass. I almost started to sing. I can't stand when people do that. Anyway, so the lights go down, and fast forward, that guy never said anything to me. So I decided to go to the punch bowl, get a drink. As I kept drinking and the night went on, and it looked like it was getting toward the end of the night, I got just four up to the point they had to tell me the next day what I'd done. I was so drunk that they didn't want any of the adults to know there was alcohol in the house, and I remember them putting me in the laundry room. They laid me in the laundry room and closed the shutters in there, so nobody would know that I was there drunk. So the next day, I'm asking my friends what happened. Never got to see the boy, never got to date the boy. But that is so impacting to me because I can remember it so close. So, sense of belonging. I didn't belong. I wasn't cute enough. My hair wasn't long enough. And I hear the same answer for every Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Always feeling like I wasn't enough. Always feeling like I didn't fit in. Always feeling like there was something wrong with me. Always wishing, why did God give me this body? Why did God give me this color? Why did God give me this family? Why did God give me this level of economic insecurity? Why did God, and then growing up in Catholic school with the thou shalt not. So if you add all of that sense of not belonging and add the thou shalt nots to that, I'm never going to be able to be good enough. You know, those things called commandments, I'm never going to be able to pull it off. I would swear at the beginning of every school year that I was going to be good. I practiced my penmanship on my brand new notebook, use your new paper and new pens, and I'm going to be really good. Within the first week, my desk is next to the teacher's desk. And then I did it over and over and over again. And it wasn't that I was a bad child, it was just everything was funny. Hysterical. You know, you got that best friend, you guys sit side by side, you always know I can't sit next to dead kids because you don't get, you know, attention. That's how I was. And then as I started growing up, I started experimenting with more stuff. It's amazing if you're an alcoholic like me. If somebody offers you something, do you ever ask them, what does this do? You ain't asking Jack. Inhale, swallow, whatever it is, and wait to see if you see uniforms. I don't know. If you're, I'm not the only one that does that. So never ask. Have people bring me drink. Never knowing what's in it. Then as I grow older, I graduated from high school, I got a job at the phone company, always did what my mother said, do what you're supposed to do, go to work all the time, get a job with a union, because, you know, to me, a job with a union means if I screw up, they can help me out of my mess. The unions are the most codependent entity ever, because you know you wrong as hell. I used to be there with the union rep and me and them, and it was always their fault. It's always their fault. I was litigious, I was going to sue you for everything, all the time. So I got my job, I'm doing really good, and now I'm starting to party. I'm 21 years old, I'm hitting the clubs, and baby, when I hit the clubs in the 80s and Prince was out, it was over. See, I was that big bowl, the fourth in vogue, they forgot to call me back. My head told me I was the fourth Dandy. You know what I'm saying? The Dandy 6. It said Dandy 6, it really should have been Dandy 7, because it's me and home. Never figured out the math on that. She got that, thank you. I always wanted to be the brightest star in the room. I always thought that I was going to grow up and be a star. You know, I was raised in that Hollywood environment. I was raised over there. Because I was that little girl that would sing songs by Natalie Woods, and I would sing all of the songs for all of the musicals. I was like a gay guy. I love musicals and songs and sparkles and glitter and no extras. You know, that's just how I was. I like the sparkle stuff. I like show tunes. I mean, just fantasy. You know, something my sponsor Betty T told me. She was a psych nurse and RN when I met her, and I'll get into that really quickly. And Betty used to say, there's nothing wrong with building a cabin in the sky or a fantasy in the sky, a palace. But what happens with the alcoholic, we have a tendency to move into it. For those of you who understand, that means I can imagine, I have a magic magnifying mind, and I draw off this big old thing, and then I move into it, and I think it's reality. See, the big with Alcoholics Anonymous tells me that I cannot differentiate the truth from the false. It didn't say when I was drunk. When I'm stone cold sober, I can't differentiate the truth from the false. See, my head will tell me, because you're not listening to me talk right now, my head says she don't like me. Well, how do I know that? Has she said that to me? What makes it? Everything is about me. Everything is about me. And when I look at you, and just because you're in my home and you didn't speak this week, or I'm not speaking to you either. See, I can't differentiate the truth from the false because I like to lie to myself, because in my mind, therein lies my ego, and in my ego, the ego wants me to feel bad. The ego likes me to feel weak. It likes me to feel less than. It likes me to be in the midst of my dis-ease. It likes me to feel uncomfortable. It likes me to feel full of fear. It likes me to feel the 7 deadly sins. It likes me to go all those ways, because eventually it can break me enough so I can go back and take that drink that's going to kill me, and that's not going to resolve anything anyway. See, the ego likes self-righteous anger. Because what the ego does is it likes me to be off-center. It likes me a little crooked. It likes me to be off-center, because when I'm off-center, that means I'm off in alignment with the Most High. I'm going to tell you how I got to some of these conclusions that I came to. They may not be yours, but I'm going to let you know how I came to these. So let's fast forward real fast. 1987, we partied. And that thing is Los Angeles, California. You know what that thing was. And when that thing landed, you talking about a space odyssey? Everybody left the country. You got grandmamas selling cameras, you got daddies selling mamas, you got mamas selling mamas. I mean, everybody's doing everything. And all along there is king alcohol right in the mix, sitting there and quiet. Because the king alcohol is so cheap because it's legal, you know, it sits in the cut. Ain't nothing wrong with a little cocktail after business deal. Ain't nothing wrong with a little cocktail after golf deal. There's nothing wrong with a little cocktail after bowling alley. See, well, so I didn't realize my association with alcohol until I came into the rooms of another fellowship, and you guys kept talking about this thing called alcohol, and I had to relive and look at, wait a minute. See, when I ran out of everything, when there was no more, and I couldn't look under nothing, and I couldn't find anything, it was always cool to go get me a drink. See, it was a Heineken. Or I would go get me one of those cute little beers and one of those cute little drinks, and then after a while, the little umbrellas and the little pieces of fruit that came off. Next thing I want a Long Island. After that, that came off on a gin. Give it. Then I don't need nothing to put no cut on my alcohol. Mm-hmm. But you guys taught me in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it says men and women like the effect produced by alcohol make me not drink. I like to be a little loopy. Now I don't want the road to be swirling. You know that swirling, you so drunk lay on the bed, and it's like, okay, stop the room, and nauseated, you got your face on the toilet, or something that's cold, you're about to throw up. Not that. I just like that beginning buzz. I like that buzz I get when I walk into the club. It feels like all the lights in the club are still coming at me. I swore the DJ said my name. She's here. The skirts got shorter, the things felt longer, I got taller, my hair grew, and everything else grew. I felt like I had a problem. See, I'm the girl that comes home after the club, and I'm so drunk I can't get out the car, and I sleep across the seats. And I wake up on a Sunday with the same dress I left Friday. I don't know about y'all, but you come with your dress inside out and backwards, and half of the beads and the sequins are missing because you had a rough weekend. I don't know about y'all, but that's how I came back. By then, I have no more money. I just got paid, and I'm looking like my rent is only $500 a month. Why am I late every month? Why am I waking up with people I would not normally, in my right mind, if there was one, go there? What is that about? My sponsor today tells me that my value system was in that area. So my last one went a little bit, I got so tired that my last one went a little something like this. I took that last one, and that last one didn't do anything. I took another one, and it didn't do anything. I could not feel. The book said I love the effects of I want to feel something. I didn't feel nothing. It was just like drinking water. Nothing was working. Straight, old English, Andy Greenspring, straight gin, vodka. It didn't matter. Nothing worked. Something's wrong when I put alcohol in my body and I don't feel the effect. When I'm just getting started, it's not like I've been doing it all weekend. The very first day on that Friday night, when I'm getting started, it didn't work. Uh-oh. Did I run out of all my whatever it is to make it work? So I asked my friend to send me a tab, and I went home, and from that day, the day after that, November 2nd, 1988, I too, like Ken, had one white shirt. Came into the room of Alcoholics Anonymous and sat. Not only did I come into the room of Alcoholics Anonymous, that mother, because we all have mother problems. I think it's a disease of mothers. Poor mothers. My mother sat right in front of me. And for the first 90 days, my mother and I trudged this road together. My mother was so excited about going to meetings, she took the directory from the hospital that I ended up going to for a minute, circled the places we should go, and would say, hey, that meeting started at 6 o'clock, and I'd get dressed, and we'd go. She was so excited. She was so excited, she wanted to share it. The coolest thing about it, y'all shut her down. We got needs for you now. I was like, I'm staying forever. Shut down. It's almost like my friend, you can't shut that down right there. Keep talking. Y'all sit there going, yeah, keep talking. My mother was like that. And I said, oh, I'm coming back. And what I noticed when I came into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, I saw the stuff on the walls, I saw you guys standing up there, but I noticed that everybody looked good. They didn't look from the place, look like the places I had just left. They didn't look like the girls that I hung out with. And they didn't look like, see, I'm that girl that's that, if you tell me to try it, I'll try it. I didn't get a 30-day chip at being an actual prostitute.
Sure.
I tried it. I got arrested after about 20-something days. I don't even do that well. You know what I'm saying? When I was in my disease, I tried to do everything. I just wanted to belong. I wanted you guys to say, she's cool. She got it going on. She's got it down pat. And I couldn't get it. Now I can blame all that on my mother being a strong-armed mom, but my mother was a beast because she took care of 2 kids, bought her own house in a really good area of town, and everything I needed, I always needed. See, today I've forgiven my mother. But it took a whole lot of writing of that same inventory and that same resentment over and over and over and over and over and over and over with her. Because out of all of that getting and all of that resentment and seeing my defects and all of that stuff, I did not forgive her. I made amends 11 times, but I never forgave her. I don't know anything about you, but think back and who you made amends to, just for your consideration, who you made amends to, but did you forgive them? Are you still holding a little candle of a resentment, a flame of resentment on them? If there's something that still sparkles there a little bit when their name comes up or they repeat some behavior. See, when I came into the rooms, I got into the book and I got into the step studies, and I didn't hang out with old timers as old as Kent did, but I hung out with some good old timers. And they told me, get into these books, get into the steps. And I was so excited. See, I was a great isolator. I was so excited to get into the steps, into the book, and see people. You don't understand. See, when you isolate yourself, and you're ever really getting drunk by yourself, or you're hanging out with ones and twos, or a couple people here and there, when you're sitting in these dungeons with these people, when you come out, the light is bright. And to me, coming into a room of Alcoholics Anonymous, the light was really bright because you guys were smiling. You were reaching out your hand. You were saying, hi, how are you? What's your name? You didn't ask me what was my business. You asked me, how are you doing? And then you took my hand and you introduced me to other people, and everybody smiled and accepted me. A little sense of belonging began right there. You guys had cars, you had jobs, and in Los Angeles, the recovery is so cold and good cold. It is so strong. I would hear these stories about women leaving their children in certain areas with certain people, and men jumping off the freeway overpasses and surviving and relapsing, and you guys clapped for them. I was like, wow. And I did what most of us do. I cherry picked what I could do through the steps. I could do that one. I don't know what that one means. And I tried all of that. But the thing that I found out is I didn't know how to do any of that unless I got somebody to lead me. I needed a lighthouse, though. I kept hearing, get a sponsor, get a sponsor, get a sponsor. And I did that. And that sponsor introduced me to meetings and sitting around and breaking down this book and going in the book study. See, I don't know about you, but I sponsor a few women, and you know, I've heard Kent and a couple of other people I really respect, but I tell women, get into a big book study. If you want this, you will seek this, you will go for it. Get into a big book study. However, I can take you through the steps that it was, the way it was taken. I was taken through the steps as well. All I'm supposed to do, once I got the message, and the message was clear away the stuff that's blocking you from God. Clear away that channel. 11-step prayer talks about the channel. Clear away that channel so that the Spirit can come through and do what it needs to do. We all needed healing. I needed healing. Love and belonging. I wanted to go somewhere where people really knew my name. I wanted to go somewhere where people saw me coming and smiled. I wanted to go somewhere that if I didn't come with the coffee pot, you guys would know I was missing. I wanted to go somewhere where if I was missing, somebody would call me. I wanted to feel a part of something. I think it's the way we're programmed. I think it's the way we were born. I think it's the way that we grew up as natives. I'm not meant to be alone. It was an experiment. And they had, it's back in the 50s, and they had one baby that was born and wasn't touched and wasn't held and wasn't, they feed it and do what it needs. That baby, and then they had the other baby that was touched and held and fed. And I know this seems a little off subject, but it's real. And the baby was touched and held and fed. They thrived, they grew, they learned. The baby that wasn't started shrinking, the body wasn't growing, the mind wasn't growing, and it became slightly mentally ill. And what that told the scientists is that we need human touch, we need human belonging. That's why when I got my sponsor and I told her some of the most egregious things I'd ever done, she either laughed at me or she told me a story just like her. Maybe I did that too. In fact, I just did it last week. Nothing good that sponsor tells you. You got 20-some years, girl. Please, I'm still struggling. I like to say this: the steps are designed to get me in touch with the power that can help me stay stopped from anything. But I said the steps are designed to get me in touch with a power that can help me stay stopped from doing anything. Doesn't matter if it's alcohol this week, sex next week, gambling next week, whatever it is, whatever your defect is. For my sponsor, Betty T, let me tell you how I met her real quick. One time, I had a sponsor, and she moved out to Northern California, and somebody told me, I met a lady that reminds me of an older version of you than you. I was like 5 years older. They invited me to a meeting, this lady was speaking at. And this lady had on heels with a sweatsuit, and it was sparkly, had rhinestones, she was bling-bling. She always wore this long dolly party. She laughed at American lady. She always had this long wig, and we just were blinging together. And I looked at her and I said, I like her. I gave her 26 years. Until she passed away in 2016. She was a psych nurse specializing in chemical dependency, so I had to double up. Not only did I have a sponsor, I had a psychiatrist. And she used to say the most outrageous things. Let me give you a couple case scenarios. She would say stuff to me like she's tripping. See, in our family, she gave me the family, the sense of belonging, the family thing. The girl that, this is your sister, this is your cousin. I just did that with this crew down here. There was a lady here, I'm just going to say this real quick, that came by herself. She came up to me, she's extremely shy. Because I know what shy is, it's another word for you. And she came by herself, she says, I have 30 days and I'm on your meeting every week. I'm on going off, stay with me. I said, you came by yourself? She said, and I looked for her tonight. Some of you saw it, some of you did. See, I don't let us go swimming alone. Remember how they used to say you always take a buddy with you? No, you let me know that you're by yourself, I'm getting ready to plug you into some other folks. Because an alcoholic by themselves is not a very good place to be. It's not very good company because you have that thing called your mind, which is where your disease centers in your thinking, and you're sitting around feeling like, ever been somewhere feel like everybody's in a clique but you? Maybe because your ass ain't clicking. So Betty used to always join all of us girls together. She said, oh, you got a sister that had a boyfriend that stole off. I'm like, that's not you. Hey, you two talk to each other. She put us together and walk off. I'd be like, you too? She's like, yeah, me too. Like, oh. So what I did is I started emulating that same thing and I put women together. I'd like to be the bridge. Walking from the big bridge of fear to the bridge of faith, to the shore of faith. Everybody comes in here scared. Everybody feels less than. If you don't, let me know how you got around that being an alcoholic. So Betty and I were on this 26-year run together. And you know how women can be. We get into it with each other. And I had a sobriety sister. By the way, I got married twice in recovery, don't judge me. And this girl was dating my soon-to-be ex-husband, even though I had an affair with another newcomer guy. Don't judge me. Double digit 10, baby. I'm on fire. Double digit 10. He was cute. He had an Timberlands. I had double digits, so I get tired of the husband anyway, and I'm alcoholic that runs. I run. I will run when I'm tired. I will run, you know. So this sister of mine, we had the same sponsor, started seeing there. So my magnifying mind said that they been sitting up there playing eyeballing the whole time she at my house at my workshop. You know, I mean, you know, I told you I built castles in the sky and I moved into it. And they started seeing each other. In fact, my youngest son, who was 2 at the time, he started calling her mom. Now, I don't want him, but how dare you? So I called my sponsor after I found out what happened, and she said, come meet me at our home group. Met her at our home group, sitting next to her because we always sat in the front. And the other girl comes to the home group meeting. It's a packed, big meeting on Saturday night. And the girl comes in the door, and Daddy goes, and the girl comes over. Now, she's got more time than me, but the girl comes over and she says, hi, Betty. And she sits next to Betty. Betty pats the chair and she sits next to Betty, and I'm sitting on the other side of Betty. So, you know, I'm not a fighter. You can see, I'm not real, you know, I'm not gangster. They talk about fighting and bragging people and this. I'm like, I will hold your purse. I am not that fighter. So the first time the wig come off or a shoe come off, I'm rolling. I'm not that girl. I'm not that third central. I'm not that other. So, okay, you got this real quick. So, this girl is sitting there, and I'm so hot. Baby, how are you doing it? Betty's sitting there, and she's looking straight in. She said, it's okay, baby, you're gonna be okay. She passed me on my leg. So I'm so anxious, and I'm so angry, and I'm like, I can't believe this, that I get up and say, Betty, I'm gonna go get some coffee. You want some coffee? Betty said, yeah, I think we got 2 Splendors. And then Betty turns to her and says, Leslie's going to get us some coffee. Do you know some coffee? And you know what this have to say? Yeah. Now I'm not having nervous breakdown. And this is double digits. I just did the steps. I'm talking about my deep breath. I know what my fingers are, making hands and all that. But there's still residue. Y'all know what residue is. You know what residue is. You know what's the residue. You know that color of the bottle. You know what residue is in little cans and jars. But that residue. Because see, I'm working on residue for the rest of my life. I'm always going to be cleaning up dust bunnies. You can't just clean the house one time. You might have to see the angle of the light in your house because I got hardwood floors and dust everywhere. Then I go get the broom and I'll start to see. I'm going to always be cleaning up the residue and the grease in the pots all the time for the rest of my life because guess what? It never gets thoroughly clean, and I'm going to tell you there's a secret as why it doesn't. I'm glad it doesn't because God knows I don't have nothing to work on. I'm in trouble. So I go with the coffee. Shake it. And I go to bed. See, my sponsor, I respected my sponsor. You're not going to show your entire behind. With my sponsor, there was something about the power of a sponsor that you respect. You're just not going to lose your damn mind. Betty said, it's okay, cool. So we go to the meeting, I'm sitting there, and I'm starting to calm down a little bit, and I'm just in tears. I'm mortified, I'm pissed off. And as the meeting ends, as all meetings do, we stand up, we grab hands, and then he steps back, and then one to the other side, and we're holding hands. Now I'm holding this heaven's hand. And I'm like, what am I saying in that story? What am I saying in that story? Now, it took us a couple of years, but that girl and I are cool now. In fact, this girl moved from out of town. Not me and that girl are really cool now. In fact, I send her information to me since she's moved to the town that I lived in, and I send her information and send her texts. And sometimes she will call me and say, hey, do you have her number? And I'll call her and say, hey, somebody's calling from LA and wants your number. See, what am I saying in that story? This program makes you sometimes you hit a wall that you end up doing what you never thought you could do. I'm gonna hug on her and she wait while I do that. I hear a lot of things about a lot of people on sharing with my sponsees, and I don't know how much time I'm looking at it. What this program has changed me to do and shown me to do is fear is the food that feeds the resentment. So I'll say that again. Fear is the food that feeds my resentment. So if I'm angry, it's really nothing more than fear. Not only that, fear is a corroding thread. Fear is the food that feeds the 7 deadly. Because there's fear in between each one. When I'm acting out in sexual lust, it's because I don't feel like whatever I'm doing is enough, or I think that that's going to validate me. When I'm acting out on greed and blood, and I'm working and I'm trying to throw you under the bus so I can make more money, it's because I don't think that the supplier is giving me all enough that I need. If I'm acting out on some personal endeavors and I haven't invited the Most High, and it's because I feel like I need to take over. So when I'm acting out on these things, it's usually based in fear. But did you ever notice the third column? This is me, my experience, this is me. When I talk about where this resentment affects, everything that's affected, whether it's my money, my personal relations, my self-esteem, my ambitions, my pride, my ego, in between each one of them is fear. If I'm mad at you and you affect my pockets, if I'm mad at you and you affect my goals, if I'm pissed off at you and you affect my ambitions and my personal relations or my sex relations, there's fear behind that. Do you know I was yesterday years old when I figured that fear is the corroding thread? And the only reason why I get to understand that is I think that I get to live through those fears. Fear of financial insecurity. My sponsor used to say something really profound. She used to say there's promises in there, there's lusts in there, but there's also negative promises in that big one. What would she say? That means if you don't do this, this will probably happen. And they probably could because Bill was being hungry. I have the type of respect today for this program and for my elder statespersons and the people that come before me, because I sit on their coattails and I listen to them. But not only that, I watch what they do. I don't care what your mouth say. I want to see how you roll with them. Another quick example, too. My oldest son is 33 years old. He suffered from serious depression. He went into the military. He never saw battle or combat. He was stationed in Korea for a while. And then he came back to Fort Bragg, where I was born, which is amazing. He ended up being there. And my son stopped calling and communicating with me and contacting me. And so I have like a way 4th, 5th cousin, so we're on my father's side. And her husband used to be a master sergeant there at Fort Bragg. So I contacted her. I said, could you find out what's going on with Jonathan? And so she called her husband, even though he wasn't at Fort Bragg, he still had connected with some people over there. My son had been in the bed, and he'd been in the bed because he was depressed. His depression was so severe that he wouldn't bathe, he wouldn't clean himself up, he wouldn't do anything. His room wasn't, he wouldn't show up for PT, he was on I guess some kind of a warning or whatever, because he couldn't keep the weight off of him, so he was eating and all of that kind of stuff. And I waited all day for that phone call to tell me that we found his son. He said the barracks, he just shut down. He wouldn't call me. I could hear it in his voice. See, it's something about the spiritual hearing. When you clear out the channel, you can spiritually hear and feel people. I don't know about you, but I have to talk about this right now, because I could talk to one of my sponsees, or I can see him on Zoom, and I go, something's not right. Now, I used to attribute that to being a mother. But there's something deeper. When this program takes you on a 4th dimension living, and you start hearing and seeing outside of self, and you help so many people, and you start getting to know these ladies, and if you're not smiling, and if you're not looking at me, or something is coming through the energy on that Zoom meeting, I'm going to pull you to the side. What's going on with you? That's how I am with my children. When something doesn't sound right, even from their hello, I can tell. Same with my sponsorship is just like nurturing to me. I've become this big nurturer. I don't know where that came from, but I'm the party girl. You know what I'm saying? But I sit here and I read these ladies and I tell them what I see in them. And I give you your assets and your liability, and I tell you, this is what I see in you. I see much more for you than you see for you. So when I saw my son, finally he looked disarrayed, he looked pitiful, his hair was matted to his head. He came home from vacation because he was put on leave. And When he came home, I saw his physician. I said, son, you can't stay here with me like that. Something's wrong. I took his 9mm, put it in the trunk of my car, went to the federal job I had. Didn't know I could drive from the federal people around with a gun in my car, but I took it. I took bullets, everything. Next thing you know, he's being kept. The same place where Tyler Perry just purchased, my son was there. And they kept him for 90 days. But before they put him there, they took him to the VA and they put him in a padded cell with a tape suit on and they took his shoes from him. Now, I don't know about you, but to see a person transformed by depression, not an alcoholic, and I cried. I'm a single parent. I cried. When I saw his hair matches and the light in his eyes were gone. I would imagine that's what it looks like to some of you coming back, or some of you that may feel like it's hopeless and this is not working. I encourage, and I'm not going, I'm going to step off, I'm going to step into a danger zone, but go get sick. Because what I've done to my body has been so horrendous that I've thrown my entire body off. So no telling what's wrong, and my son ended up locked up in that padded cell. 3 months ago, he closed on a house. He goes to all his VA appointments. He's a humble guy. He's a great kid. He has a dog, a service dog, a real service dog, not something you decide. The damn dog's on the plane. So mean service dog. Everybody, I'm sorry, somebody's mad the rest of the day. I hope right now this is out of money. Anyway, his dog was Henry. Henry saved my child. Then I have my second son, and my second son is just like me. He's fly, he's cool, he's artist. But for a long time I didn't know that my son had mild to moderate hearing loss. That he'd been reading lips from the time he was in pre-K. I didn't know that. And you know how they give you little tests and stuff like that? They give the kids tests in school, and I ignored the first one. And this is all sober stuff, y'all. Both my children are sober children, both of them. And then they tested this baby, and come to find out that he wasn't hearing the song of vocal because he couldn't hear. So all of a sudden, he feels less than. He feels like he doesn't belong. He feels like something's wrong with him. Then he has developed this hormonal thing called gynecomastia. I don't know if anybody knows about that. That's where men develop breast. So not only can he not hear, he's got these things on. I'm seeing him wearing tight shirts and hoodies at 100-degree weather. And he looked at me one time with tears in his eyes and said, Mom, they teased me at school. But for God. Picked up. I talked to that sponsor. We got to be taken care of. Because Mama had a job. Mama had done enough work in her life to have a job, to be able to take care of him. You know, Rob was one of my friends, and I was with the ex-husband of that same child. I wanted to sue. I don't know about any of you women. I know I'm jumping around, but stay with me. There's so many miracles in my life. I was so mad at him. I don't know if you're still mad with your ex. You might need to really do some work. I was so mad at him. He wasn't paying child support. I wanted to get him by his things. He gets to be all in the part of everything, and I got to do everything. I insurance, and I got to do this, and Rob was my friend, and he said, well, you know what, the good thing is you somebody gets to do it. See, me living under those supposed to's, or what I think a man is supposed to do, or what a mother's duty is supposed to be like, or what my mother was supposed to act like. The supposed to, who said that? Where did I get these ideas, these old ways, this thinking? Where did I get that from? Was it TV or something I made up? Who made those things? And I thank this program for helping me smash old ideas. I didn't go after that ex-husband, and that ex-husband ended up helping raise that child with a hearing issue. So when the child was 10, the child was in Los Angeles with his dad. He's still there today. And because of this fellowship and belonging, one of our friends makes hearing. My son got a top of the line pair of hearing because of this program and the sense of belonging. And when I say my name is Leslie, I'm an alcoholic, y'all go, I know her. See, the more transparent I am and the more armed with facts about who I am and who I'm not, the more that I know my assets from my liabilities and my defects, and I know all the difference of it, the more that you feel it, the more that you see it, and then all of a sudden you're willing to, let me tell you about me too. I think Alcoholics Anonymous is the first Me Too movement by a claim. So all y'all sit there go, me too girl, you me too guy. Both of my children are doing well. Then I met this guy. And I'm horrible relationship. The sex content inventory is phenomenal. It ain't about sex, y'all. It's about what is my integrity in relationships. And I'm pretty bold, so I'm not scared. And I often pick the wrong one. And it wasn't on purpose. This man used to be my spiritual advisor when my sponsor got on my nerves. He was never disrespectful. He always treated me with respect, and we had long conversations. And the reason I don't know why God is taking me here, somebody needs to hear it. They say that when you're in a relationship, that's the best way to see who you are. I'm saying this in front of my sponsor. I get to see who I am. And after doing 2 billion sex conduct inventories, the one in the 12 and 12, the one in the big book, all of that emotional insecurity inventories in the 12 and 12, the financial insecurity in the 12 and 12, when I hit that wall and surrendered, I just said, I can't go more. I always pick the wrong one. And Spirit said, be still. See, I don't know about you, but I'm an alcoholic. I'm a microwave alcoholic. I want the answer right now. And I want to see it put into action right now. See, God be slow sometimes. And I'll be telling God, you need to hurry up and make this happen. I'm dying on the vine. And I was just telling somebody the other day, I said, you know, sometimes God will let you hit a wall, or you will run yourself into a wall. And sometimes, just like coming into the room for Alcoholics Anonymous, I need to run into a wall to get tired. It's another battle to get tired. And that last time I ran into the wall, I used to go back and visit my mom. And my mom had dementia, and she stayed in LA. And I went to this workshop where all my friends are. I would always have one place to go and see all my friends when I come to LA. And he and his brothers are always there. They're like staples in the community. You always know where you're going to see all the people. And it was this Never Too Old workshop. Woke up one year and I got to see my sponsor came and picked me up and we went there. And he and I said, hey, you know, we ain't caught up with each other in a long time. None of this was planned, y'all. But he was always a gentleman. See, one thing I'm saying, what am I saying here? The message here, it makes gentlemen dog me. Be careful. It makes husband a guy riding on the school. Pulling up to this pretty girl in a Mercedes. It makes fathers, it makes fiancés. I don't know that didn't know how to say no. It makes ladies out of women in spite of heart problems and physical conditions. It makes women be able to tell what's going on in their private lives to a girl like me. And I can tell you, girl, hold on. This program will reform you, recreate you, reborn you into something that you want to learn. I walk past the mirror alone in the house, and I live alone. Sometimes I'm like, girl. You better go, boy. I become that nurturer. I'm that girl that hugs people, and I try to hug the hurt away. I try to hug the pain away. I try to let you know that you ain't the only one that messed up a relationship. I'm here to let you know you ain't the only one that did the right wrong thing at the right wrong time. I'm the girl that always said he abused me, but I never told the truth on how I slapped him first. See, I'm that girl. I always used and manipulated and lied and everything to get you to feel sorry for me. But the cold part about getting you to agree with me and feel sorry for me, it doesn't help me. It only makes me stay worse and get worse. Stay bad and get worse. It don't help me. See, I've talked about a lot of stuff, but I ain't talked about drinking and so a lot about my character. So I meet this guy and he treats me and we talk on the phone and it wasn't on purpose. And we've got a long lineage in our fellowship and I knew his ex-wife and I knew some people and he knew my people and he knew all myself because I felt comfortable. I was transparent. I was okay with somebody knowing. My sponsor used to say this, and some of you guys don't agree, but they used to say, you ain't got no business when you come into Alcoholics Anonymous. We already know. You got a covered hole, kills, people who steal money from banks, bank robbers, bad moms, bad grandmothers. So we know who you are. The disease wants me to hide the real me from the Most High so that it can do what it wants to with me. It can manipulate me and get me to be the worst that I can be, to tear this universe. But I tell everybody all the time, I am not going to be able to solve the mysteries and the problems of the world, but it starts with just me, the woman in the mirror, just me. If I can get just one girl to see where she needs to go back and fix it, where she needs to go back and examine her life, where she can go back and put on gratitude that she's grateful she has hot water. For a girl to continuously call me and tell me her business so I can say, girl, that ain't nothing. Let me tell you what I just did wrong yesterday. And they'll fall out of the door. Everybody wants to belong. For my sister that has lupus, and I hear her share unashamedly. And I said, babe, my mother had lupus. Let's talk. I am built to serve. There was a friend of ours that shared, she said she was saved to save. And I said, I was saved to serve. Because the best way to get out of selfishness and self-centered is to help somebody else. Unashamedly, unapologetically. I am that I am. I am that I am. So if you suffer from low self-esteem, low self-worth, start dating. And when you get tired of being the first one to lay down, or else want to give her up, and he ain't honest, and he ain't true, say, go get you a mirror, baby. You look in the mirror, I said, yeah, she said, so what did you say about her? And I looked in the mirror, she said, okay. Her point was, you fool who you are. You want that to be that. Get out of self. The book recommends that we get into looking at self. Look at this one. Everybody has a job. Everybody has a job. If you don't know what your talent and your skill is and why you were saved to serve, you might want to ask the universe. You might want to invite him in. You might want to ask him, what do I do well? You might want to ask your spouse. I suggest, for your consideration, to try something new. Working the steps is not easy. It doesn't feel good. None of us want to do it initially. Well, when you get the fruits from the steps, you'll be so excited to see what God has next. I'm so excited about the next chapter. I'm binge watching my own life. It's like watching Fargo. Me and this man watch Fargo. We like, oh God, we gotta wait till next Wednesday. Ooh. I'm gonna wrap it up because I didn't forget where I was left off at. I've never had a person come up to me and said, we're gonna do this. And I'm like, do what? There ain't no exits on this plane. That was the sexiest thing I've ever had said to me. Ain't no exits on this plane. I was like, so you know how I said, I got some big boots, I'll kick a hole in a 747, get up, jump, parachute up off this thing. But this has been the most influential, growing, spiritual relationship I've ever been in my whole life. I know I get all the time. I know it. Not really, to be like. But I've become a woman that's worthy of that. Become a girl. I'm fully self-supporting, defining outside contribution. I have a house. I take care of outside. He told me something that was amazing. See, this is some of the fruits of the step. He told me something. He said, I thought you was, pricey, I look like it, but ain't nothing on me real. Well, sort of. I ain't scared of y'all. I'm shameless. I thought they were going to be such a big because I'm just scared. They was like, she just don't know how to act right. I had somebody look me in the dictionary and I can show my entire behind it. Can't get rid of it. It's like this program. Once you get to understand the power that is, I don't care what you call it, it's the nameless one, it's the one with no name, it's the source, it's the force, it's that thing, it's something. I don't care what you call it, just know that it is not you. Just know that it is a power that's working. See, if you ever met that Zoom friend, that was a power that's working. I see 3 of my friends here, that's a power that's working. One comes from LA, and one comes from Washington, and she used to live in LA, and then this other one I'm meeting Georgia, and then they all three sit together. I'm like, there's something going on. There's something keeping people sober. How did I go from October 31st, Halloween, to November 2nd, 1988, and then taking something happened? You can call it the Most High, you can call it the God, you can call it whatever, you can call it Jehovah, you can call it Allah. I don't care what you call it, just don't call it this. It's strange. There is something happening. Rob and I talk about all the time. It used to be back in the day, 20 years was an old time, and now I get upset because I'm not the only old time over 35 years. It's like, well, I remember when she came in, now she's in an old timer slot at the man. Ugh. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a wave, there's a thing going on, and if you don't believe it, just look at each other. There's something letting you know that something's going on because we want this. Did nobody make you come to this convention? You must want something. The lighthouse. See, sometimes we're the battery and we get drained in these rooms. But the lady told me, no, batteries get drained, but lighthouses are always making it safe passage for the lost, for the ones who need the light to get to shore. So are you adding to life or are you taking from life? What is it that you are supposed to be doing? We can't explain spiritual experiences, but this is what we do. We talk about our lives, our mess-ups, our fall-downs, our skin A's, our fights within and without. That's what we do here. And maybe, like I'm seeing right now, you're going, yeah, that's me. Or you have no friends. So if you knew, You don't have to be by yourself. You belong. You earn that seat. Don't go nowhere. I see you. He see you. You see us, see you. See us, see you. You stay right here. To everybody here, I thank you for putting up with me. I was kind of shelving all over the place, but I'm so excited. Thank you so much. And I pray that you find whatever that thing is. Find yourself and be back. My name is Al-Anon.